right, Black and White Network supporters. Yes, I am still alive. I am. I've been off working on other channels in the Black and White Network sphere. Let's bring an old series back. How about that? For old time's sake, let's bring this Monday Classic back. Because let's be real, anytime that we can crap all over Brandon Johnson, well, we probably ought to take that opportunity. And so here we are. We're going to talk about Chicago's shootings, Mother's Day massacre. And we're going to talk about Brandon Johnson. Look, a lot of Democrats are watching him right now with a fuzzy eyeball. Why? Because the Democratic National Convention is coming to Chicago. I can't think of a better place for it, although we have seen a real uptick, a real rise of red voters in Chicago. There's a lot of former Democrat voters that are swearing that it's Trump 2024. I think it's one of the most interesting storylines that we've got to follow coming into this election is how red is Illinois going to end up looking. I do believe, and you got to realize, when you get out of Chicago, Illinois becomes red as hell. I mean, it's super red, and that's in a lot of these Democratic states. You get outside of the urban war zones, and it becomes largely red. So here we go. At least 29 people were shot. Wow. 4 fatally in shootings across Chicago this past weekend. A woman was shot and killed on the south side Sunday night. According to Chicago police, the shooting happened around 9:56 p.m., 6100 block of South King Drive in Washington Park. A woman, 23, was found with a gunshot wound to the chest. She was taken to the hospital. She later died. Nobody's in custody. Of course they're not. They're just... the police force is spread so thin between the thugs running amok, shooting citizens, and migrants running all over the place. Let's be honest. And the sad part is about this series is how many, and it was starting to, it was bothering me. So many underage people getting shot are cases like this. A 68-year-old man was grazed by a bullet in a shooting Saturday at Humboldt Park. He was outside about 6:45 in the rear of a home in the 6200 block of West Beach Avenue when someone approached him and fired shots, Chicago police said. The man suffered a grazed wound to his ear. That's how close we came? Yikes. Taken to Mount Sinai Hospital where he was listed in fair condition. They really don't care whether it's a man, woman, child, senior citizen. You're ducking for cover in this hellhole. You really are. It's crazy. It really is. Hours later, 2 people were shot while standing outside on the city's far south side, police said. The shooting happened around 9:50, 9600 block of South Loomis Street in Longwood Manor neighborhood. 31-year-old man was shot in the face and in the shoulder. Jesus. He was taken to a hospital. The police say he's in fair condition. He was shot in the face and he's in fair condition? Good God. What did his face look like before he got in there? A 27-year-old man was shot multiple times in the torso. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition. The police said the victims were unable to provide details of the incident. That's nuts. Look at this, guys. Last weekend, 31 were shot, 6 fatally. My God. In gun violence in Chicago. 60 in 2 weeks and 10 dead. Look, thugs and criminals, they don't sleep even on holidays. In fact, holidays in Chicago are deadlier than any other time, it seems like. Wow. Unbelievable. So, that brings us over to the worst mayor since Lori Lightfoot. A worse mayor than Lori Lightfoot. Do you know how hard that is? We've talked about that in the past. You had the DEI Supreme mayor in Lori Lightfoot. She checked all the boxes. She was black, woman, lesbian, and she did a better job than Brandon. I mean, can you imagine? Yeah, Beetlejuice did a better job, and she was, at the time that she was booted, the worst mayor in the United States. And then we get this guy, the Socialist Deluxe, the Socialist 2000, Model 2000, version 2000. Whose side will Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson be on if protesters become lawbreakers at the August Democratic National Convention in Chicago? And how will he direct the police to respond? This is going to be fascinating because he made his name as a socialist activist in Chicago. The Democrats supported him, and here we are. And they're looking right at him. How's this going to be handled? The Democrats are at war with each other right now. I mean, it's beautiful to see, but, I mean, who would have thought this many people would be pro-Hamas? But that's where we're at now. Concerns that Johnson will side with lawbreakers are common, and Johnson's interview published by Sunday by the Chicago Tribune should increase those concerns. I don't doubt it. Interviewers asked Johnson whether he agreed with the police who forcibly broke up a recent protest at the Chicago Art Institute, arresting many protesters. Johnson answered that the primary concern was the protesters' rights. God. I mean, really? The protesters' rights. He fits right in with the squad, does he not? I mean, truly. The reporters pressed further, asking, was the final response the outcome which led to dozens of arrests? Was that necessary? Question mark. Johnson's answer, well, in some instances, I've been part of these demonstrations. No doubt, you're a loser. In some instances, arrests are part of the objective. I'll say it like that. I've been taken arrests before. It's not unprecedented for demonstrators to take arrests. The most important thing, though, here is the First Amendment. Question mark. Protected. Keeping people safe. It's the primary goal. We've done both of those. In other words, getting arrested for breaking the law while protesting is no biggie. That shouldn't be a surprise. You're going to win an award. If you're a Democratic activist and you get arrested, you go to the head of the George Soros line. He's going to be funding your campaigns next. That's right. Now, you'll show up in a city and they'll have all kinds of paraphernalia and things waiting on you to make sure that your stay on some college campus in a tent is more comfortable for you. Wow. The Chicago Tribune's editorial board recognized the concern about what side Johnson will be on. Quote, Democratic bosses, their editorial says, have figured something else out too. Chicago's activist mayor is sympathetic to the pro-Palestinian protesters and likes to refer to the police as an entity separate from himself rather than under his control. Thus, he cannot be counted on to protect the convention and the party's prospects. So the Democrats are worried about their own safety. Man, turnabout is fair play all of a sudden, is it not? Others noting the same concern include the Wall Street Journal. A column there asked last week whether Democrats can trust Johnson to protect the convention. I love it. They've let the inmates run the asylum, and it's finally come back to haunt them when Arkham has a breakout. God, that's classic. The deliberate weakness in response is now clear. In a Saturday MSNBC interview with Reverend Al Sharpton, Johnson said expressly that he opposed the university's plan to clear the camp and assist from Chicago police. Even left-leaning Politico wrote in some detail last week about concerns over what side Johnson will be on. There's already a joke going around from Democratic strategic circles that the main difference between 2024 and 1968 is that the Chicago mayor this year will be on the side of the protesters, not the cops. And it's no joke. Wow. Wow. They've lost all cabin pressure there. Look, this is going to be very interesting to watch because it's going to play out on TV, right? And they're already talking about all these different things the DNC is going to try to do. Like they're going to have these remote events and they're going to be trying to swing all over the place to different places. Let's go here for an interview from this person. Let's go over here for this interview from this person. And they're going to try to minimize what this is going to look like from a public standpoint. You know, the Hamas flags. Whoa, the Hamas flags rolling in across with sleepy Joe Biden going, what's happening now? I don't know. Chicago voted in an activist mayor for the DNC. And now we got pro-Hamas protesters. This is going to be very interesting to see. It truly is. This guy, he's lost all control. All control. And I want to see how voters respond when we get to November. That's the storyline from this video going forward in Chicago. How y'all going to vote? Trump 2024 or more of this same bullshit? Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of red MAGA. Prove it. Prove it. Prove it. Because in other places, like here in Texas, a lot of us sit back and go, you guys got what you voted for. Have you finally changed your mind? I hope you have. I truly do. And if you have, bravo. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.